So welcome to our second cooking class. Today we have dal and zucchini, and which we already have on the side from our last cooking class, ghee and the pickle. You can definitely use it along with this meal. It will go very, very well. And the way how we will prepare zucchini and dal today, it will be actually the way which you can use to cook any other vegetable, any other kind of lentils or beans. So this will be kind of universal base which we'll prepare here, and you will see how much flavor it has and how well balanced it feels for our belly, along with all different types of spices. So did you find any difficulties to get any of the ingredients, or you have everything there with you today from the list?
I have everything.
Yeah, same.
Cool, awesome. Nice, because sometimes you cannot get everything of this, different herbs and spices, may be easily accessible, but we can always substitute it somehow. So that's why we're asking. All right, so here what we have today, I prepared the board nicely, so maybe we can show actually the board. I will just come there. I don't know if you guys can see. Can you see?
Yeah.
Not really, no? Yeah? Okay. Trying to not drop anything. Okay. So how we made it? We made it that this side is for zucchini and this side is for the dal. So for the dal and for zucchini, as you see, the base is very, very similar. For both things, we have the mustard seeds, which will be our actually first ingredient after oil. So we'll warm up the pan, put the oil, and then we put our mustard seeds. Then we will have cumin seeds and coriander seeds for both dishes. And then additionally for our dal, we have fenugreek today. Fenugreek, which has cooling qualities, so it's very cooling for pitta dosha. On the other hand, the mustard, for example, is very pungent, so it's actually warming up, heating up the body, so boosting a little bit the pitta. It's very balancing for the kapha dosha and also for vata. Cumin is excellent for vata, as you already know. It's very good for bloating. So it's always great to add some cumin when we cook any kind of lentils or beans. It will help to reduce bloating or basically get rid of bloating. Coriander, it's cooling as well, similarly like fenugreek seeds. Also coriander in the fresh form, it's as well very cooling, so it's great for pitta. Then we have tomato only for our zucchini, as it will give us a little bit of sour taste and make everything more juicy. For zucchini, we also have a little bit of ginger and chili. And for, sorry, not ginger, garlic and chili. And for dal, we have ginger and chili. So here we decided to not use garlic because we wanted to introduce you into this one spice. It looks very ugly in this orange box, and it's really quite old box already. Asafoetida or hing. This is a spice which is very, very intense. So you would just use a tiny, like really dash of it. How much we can put, like maybe 1/5 of a teaspoon.
1/10 of a teaspoon, like really a little bit.
Yeah.
And actually, it's made from the gum of a particular plant, and it's really good for digestion. So, especially if you have some problem with your digestion, adding a little bit of this instead. And also, in many places in India, they don't like to eat garlic, because they say that garlic is not sattvic. It increases our kind of rajasic energy or this pitta energy. So they substitute the garlic for the hing, which kind of, it's a different taste, but it gives the same, the same kind of flavor as garlic.
It just also enhances the taste of anything you are cooking. So it will make it more aromatic, more tasty. Just a little dash. But if you smell it, it's very strong smell. So always putting a little bit only.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't show you the smell over the video. But
and actually Rohil's grandma says like you should never actually mix these two things, hing and garlic, because they are like, they would kind of bite each other because they both are very intense in taste, and they have the, just like basically they will be not fitting well together.
So we don't use them in the same dish ever.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so we can start. Oh, also the rest of the things actually I should explain. We have here 2 small bowls with onions, so both of them, they have the same amount of onion. And I have also zucchini, which I cut into, Rokil cut actually, into the small cubes. And we have the tamarind, which we decided to put for our dal today, so it will give some nice sour taste. Once again, we soak the tamarind in water. We make it into juice, into the paste. And last 3 things, these are spices which are in the powder form. So we have turmeric, we have black pepper, and we have sea salt.
Yeah.
And these are all our ingredients for today. Okay. So what we're gonna do, we will prepare, shall we prepare both things simultaneously on 2 pans?
Yeah, we can.
Yes, we will do both things simultaneously. So we will use both pans, as you know that they both have very similar ingredients, very similar way of cooking. I hope that you already pre-cooked your lentils, your dal.
Yeah.
If not, this is a great time to still ensure that you're pre-cooking it, so that we will prepare the base in the pan with the spices, and then we will add the dal, which is already cooked inside. There was no potato in the dal, right?
Oh.
And into this dal as well, next time whenever you make it, if you feel like making just like 1 pot meal, you can also add some different veggies inside. So you can add maybe chopped like small cut potato, or even zucchini would go well, or what?
Carrot.
Or carrot, yes.
Especially if you're like cooking for a large number of people, you can add a couple of potatoes into the dal, some carrot, and make it into a nice 1 pot meal.
Yeah.
And as well, if you at any point feel that you add too much chili, the potato will also help to save the dish if it becomes too spicy. All right, let's begin then. We're gonna start with our sesame oil. So any oil you're using, it's fine. Can be sesame, can be coconut. You can also use your ghee. We are going to use the sesame oil. So I'm starting up the fire underneath both pans. And I'm gonna put 2 spoons of oil into each pan, or like 1.5 spoons. This again depends how much oil do you like. You can put a little less, a little more. We are putting 1.5 spoons. Actually, this is for the dal, this is for the zucchini. No?
We didn't talk about rice, no? On the side.
Yeah, you can talk.
So
I'm thinking.
we didn't say in the email, but ideally this dish, for instance, the dal would be had with some rice.
Yeah.
Okay, Evelina wrote it in the email. So you can have the dal with some rice and the zucchini on the side. That would be a standard way of cooking. So Evelina is just putting the mustard seeds now into the oil. So into both the pans, the mustard seeds go. So the mustard seeds always go first. And they are an indicator of whether the oil is hot enough as well. So it's also used as a way to know whether the oil is already hot enough for the next things to go in. So ideally your mustard seeds should start sizzling and maybe popping. And that is the moment where you know that it's the time to add the next thing. If, for instance, you added the mustard seeds and it straight away started to pop,
it means it's too hot.
then it means the oil is too hot. You need to cool it down before adding the other spices. So then now Evelina is adding the cumin into both and the coriander seeds into the dal. So yeah, you can add the cumin and the coriander seeds both into both the dishes.
The fenugreek and the dal.
And the fenugreek seeds go only into the dal. So now you can just mix both of them to make sure that it's evenly roasted, all the seeds, they're not evenly fried. If you feel like it's getting too hot, you can make the flame small on both the pans.
Yeah, we already have the smallest one now. And yeah, just a moment of roasting the seeds is enough. And now we can add onion into the boat. Oh, sorry, I forgot about curry leaves. We don't have curry leaves. Our curry, actually we had, but yeah, they didn't survive the trip from India properly, and we had to throw them into our new compost. So we have no curry leaves again, but if you have them, please add your curry leaves now.
Yeah.
How many again?
You can add like
How
5,
many?
6, just 5, 6, and you
Okay.
can kind of
Super.
just pair them up within your hands and put them in.
So the aroma will come
Into
out.
birth?
So the aroma kind of gets released if you just break them up in your fingers and then add them in.
And then you can also, along with it, add the onion into both of your dishes.
And then make sure you mix everything nicely.
We have our handmade balls, which we prepared. We actually made them by hand in Bali in the rice fields.
Oh my gosh, that's so
Yeah,
nice.
it was just like a piece of wood before. And then we sat for like 4 hours and made the balls.
That's so cool.
Okay, and now after putting the onions, you can add a little bit of salt into both the pans. What the salt will do is that the onions will start to sweat, so they will start to release the water, and they'll become more kind of caramelized. So when you add, you don't need to add all the salt you need for the dish, but just a dash of salt now with the onion. And then again, keep mixing. You'll notice that the water now will start to come out.
Oh, and one other thing which I forgot to explain is this thing. I believe many of you have it at home, which is a grinder. Grinder, that's how you say in English?
Yeah, grinder.
So basically a tool to grind your spices. So this is what we would use for cumin and for coriander, because it will help the seeds to open and to become even more aromatic. So it's a great thing to use. If you don't have this at home, you can even, just sometimes I would use the knife and just press it onto the board when I was traveling and I wouldn't have the grinder with me.
So we want to keep the onions in the pan for a bit until they start to kind of get a little bit goldenish. So essentially, once the dal is already made, we don't want the onions to be kind of chewy. So we want it to be nice and crunchy.
And now we can add from this.
Yeah. So now we're going to add, as our onions are starting to become a little bit done, we see that they've also become less in volume. We're now going to add the next two things. So for the zucchini, we're adding garlic and chili. This is zucchini.
Oh, this was zucchini.
Okay, it's okay. That is zucchini. It's fine. Yeah, I think.
I'm confused.
Yeah, that is not zucchini.
Okay.
Okay, so we add garlic and chili, and then into the dal, we are adding ginger and chili. And you can add, if you have garlic, you can add garlic as well into the dal, or if you have the hing, we'll add the hing now, just a dash of it. I'll just show you how it looks. It's kind of this powdery thing. It's just like a slightly brownish powder. Make sure you're mixing everything well, so it's cooking evenly throughout. Of course, you don't have to keep mixing it, but from time to time, just mixing.
Nice.
And here you can also start adding your other spices into the dal, which is your black pepper. Yeah. So you can add black pepper into the dal. And we have tomatoes for the. Now we'll add in the tomatoes into the zucchini. Are you guys following along okay, or should we slow down? All good? We can pause as well and just slow down if you need.
No, I have a quick question because I look
Okay.
at the list that we get in an email and I can see that there's garlic in both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you can use garlic for both.
There is
both.
written garlic, and later, if you don't want to use garlic, you can use instead asafoetida.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't use garlic for the dal. We used the asafoetida for the dal.
But any option would be fine, definitely. So now I just added tomato into my zucchini pan. Is that very good here also? No. I don't think so. It is good here.
Okay, and now you can also add the turmeric into both pans.
And after a moment, we will be able to add our veggie or our dal to both of the bases. The tamarind also.
So we have tamarind for the dal. Now is the moment we've soaked it in water and we're just squeezing the tamarind out into the water, and then you can just have a really fine strainer and put that tamarind water into the dal through the fine strainer.
The strainer is for the reason because the tamarind which we are using also, it has some pieces of shell in it, which is not supposed to actually be there. So that's why we are using the strainer. But sometimes when we have the really nice tamarind which doesn't have any shell in it, any seeds, then it's easy. You don't even have to use the strainer. You can put straight away pieces of tamarind inside.
I have tamarind concentrate. You think maybe like just half a teaspoon, or how much?
What is it? Oh, it's
like
tamarind.
concentrate. Yeah. So how much should I add of this concentrate?
I never seen concentrate, but I believe it's normal. It's just the same. Is it like brown and sticky?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe like half a teaspoon.
Half a teaspoon. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's like normal tamarind.
Yeah.
Okay, looks good. Now we can add zucchini into the zucchini pan and dal into the dal pan. Take the towel, sweetheart, because it will be hot. Now Rohil is getting the dal, which is nicely cooked. Wait to come here. That's the dangerous part.
We don't have something to hold the pan.
Yeah. Nice. So we just leave the dal now for a bit to get the spices or the aroma and also the water to evaporate as we have a little too much water in our dal. And the zucchini we keep cooking. You may also cover your zucchini, or actually first we can add a little bit more salt because we didn't add whole salt at the beginning. So now I'm putting like half a teaspoon maybe of salt to both of the things.
When we were pre-cooking the dal, we also put salt while it was pre-cooking, which is nice when you're cooking lentils or beans. Adding salt when you pre-cook it is good because it kind of helps it to cook quicker and it also absorbs the salt into it completely.
How is it going, ladies?
Good.
Cool.
Cooking one by one. I'm cooking one by one. I'm working on the zucchini now.
No time. And should you keep mixing zucchini so it's not gonna get burnt? The onions, the spices. We're gonna check how our dal tastes. It's basically ready. You can check if it needs maybe more salt, more pepper. I think it's nice. Want to try? Or more salt?
Good.
Nice. And we will also check on our zucchini. So I'm getting some big piece to check if it's done. Still a couple of minutes for zucchini for us. It's still quite crunchy. Okay, I think it's ready. The dal is for sure ready. The zucchini is 90% ready, 95% ready, let's say. So I'm gonna put the coriander into the dal. So I'm putting off my dal. The gas goes off and I'm just putting coriander leaves into it. And then stirring it nicely. And that's it. Dal is ready. And now our zucchini also looks done. It is soft when I press on it, so it's also ready. I'm also gonna put it off and add the coriander. So we add the raw coriander to give more taste, freshness into the dish. Smells very good.
So the coriander is not to be cooked, the fresh coriander. So it's just kind of added at the end when we switch off the flame or the gas and we put the coriander, and it kind of semi cooks in the heat, but it's not really like cooking in the dish. So what we did here, are you guys on board?
Yeah.
Have you managed to finish? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, done.
Okay, great.
I have no coriander though, but
Okay.
it's okay. It still tastes really good.
You could alternatively also add, it's not the same thing and it's not Indian, but you could add like parsley or something just to give that same freshness.
True. Yeah,
So
true.
in the future, if you have some fresh leaves, it's always nice in the end.
Yeah.
And one thing also about coriander, I remember, it's not actually from Ayurvedic cooking class, but it's from a cooking class which I did in Thailand, in Bangkok. How they would use coriander, they would use all parts of coriander leaf. They would also use the roots. So the chef was saying that the root actually give you the most of aroma. So he would just clean the roots before, like scrape all the layer nicely first, wash it, and then maybe like break it a little bit and put it into the dish for the cooking time. So like the whole root he would put, and it actually gives a lot of aroma also into the dish. So whenever you cook, try it out. It's really a nice thing.
Ah, cool.
Okay, so our things are done. We will show you what came out. Yeah, I'm holding. Okay, so here is our dal. And the zucchini.
My dal looks very like watery. Is that because I didn't cook it long enough, or I put
your dal looks watery?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just you can keep cooking it for an extra maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes, so the water will evaporate. So it can be a little more watery, it can be very dense, depending how you like it ultimately.
Is that supposed to be like a soup or porridge? Like a dal is like a...
It should be liquid, but it shouldn't be like very watery. But again, like different people would like it differently.
So yeah, it depends kind of. In India, you would either eat the dal with rice, and if you would eat it with rice, it would be slightly more watery. Or you would eat it with chapati, which is like the Indian bread, flat bread. And if you would eat it with chapati, then you would have it a little bit thicker, the dal. So you'd have less water in it. So you can adjust it based on your preference. If you want to have it as a soup, it can be a bit thinner. You could also add more veggies into it if you wanted like a soup, like some carrots, some celery, potato, sweet potato. Yeah, so pumpkin even. So like you could have a pumpkin dal one day you could have a celery dal
or spinach
is
also nice.
Yeah, so you could add. So essentially the base, what we did with the seeds and the spices, is similar for almost all Indian dishes. And if you have access to these seeds that we use, you essentially don't need to buy these masala powders nowadays, which they sell, to give the same taste. You get that similar taste without that.
Even better, because
it's like
from the fresh seed.
Yeah.
Oh.
A guy I work with is Indian, and he told me about this one, pav bhaji.
Pav bhaji masala.
Oh, pav bhaji.
Yeah.
Also has it.
Yeah. He told me it's the best one, so I brought it today when I was buying the other
Nice.
So if you feel like you want more like
Flavor.
intense flavor, more masala, then you can add those as well.
Mm.
But if you just want it
This is
simple,
nice.
also just the seeds is enough. So this
Yeah.
base you could kind of use for different veggies. So you could have like the ladyfinger, okra.
Which is very good.
You can make like the beans, the long beans. Those I think they're called French beans. You could have the chauli in India. It's called those thinner beans.
1,000 types of beans in India, which
then-
all would taste a little different. Very nice.
Yeah, you can make different kind of zucchinis, gourds, like bottle gourd, ridge gourd, bitter gourd. I don't know if you
Oh my
get them
gosh.
where you are, but like you can essentially with the similar kind of base, just maybe adding a spice here, taking out a seed there. You know, it's all the same way, style of cooking for whatever you want to make, whichever vegetable, whichever lentils, beans. So
And there are, of course, some more spices which you can try to play with for different dishes. So maybe we'll show also what other spices we have. You can mix them with this, cardamom, maybe. Only this, no? I think. I bring the sweeter
we also have cardamom. Here in Bali, we don't get the whole cardamom. So we have like the powder. So you can kind of add, generally cardamom would be in India would be added to sweet dishes or dishes with dairy in them, like sweet dishes with dairy, because they say that in Ayurveda that cardamom, sometimes dairy can have mucus forming qualities. So especially for somebody who is a little bit intolerant or already has something going on in the gut, it can cause a lot of mucus, and cardamom helps to avoid or reduce that mucus formation. So it's generally used in all the kind of, we have many of these sweet dishes which are made out of like condensed milk that is cooked for long periods of time, or butter or ghee. So in those dishes, then you would also add cardamom. So like coffee, because we in India you would have coffee with cow's milk, the filter coffee with cow's milk. So you would then add cardamom into the coffee to negate the negative qualities of the dairy.
And then we have garam masala, which is actually homemade garam masala. We keep it in the fridge so it stays fresh for longer. It smells amazingly. And it's actually, it's homemade by Rohil's mom. So she's mixing here many different spices together. So what we have there? Nutmeg, we have cardamom as well, we have some cinnamon, we have some clove, we have like, I believe at least like 15 different spices, which his mom, she's like grinding and preparing and roasting and then turning them into powder. So yeah, maybe one day we will get a full recipe from her. We can share it with you guys, because this garam masala is really, really amazing.
So as the name suggests, garam in Hindi means hot or heaty. So it's kind of to be used, not to be used all the time. It's like kind of more a winter spice. So when it's really cold outside, you would add it into your curries or your. It's not spicy, as in it's not like spicy and to taste. But when you have a dish with garam masala, it kind of warms up your throat and your chest region, and
so it's great for kapha and also great for vata. So if you have a lot of vata or a lot of kapha, that would be a great spice to add. And also in the time of autumn, in the time of winter when it's cold outside, and it really goes very well with the veggies which actually you would eat in this time. So more grounding, more rooting vegetables like pumpkin or like sweet potatoes. It would add nice aroma into it.
Also, it's added into heavier foods, like if you have beans like kidney beans or some kind of beans which are heavier, much heavier to digest. Garam masala helps because it increases the digestive power as well. So you can add it to heavier foods, like when you're cooking beans and so on. So for the dal, you don't really need to add it. This is kind of a more simple dal. But if you have, So ideally, did we mention in the email about soaking the dal?
Yes.
Yeah. So ideally the dal also, of course, should be soaked for a few hours before, so that it breaks down and it's easier to digest.
And the more light dal, the less soaking it requires. The heavier dal or beans, the more, of course, soaking it requires. But I think we mentioned it on the last class.
Yeah, we mentioned it.
Yeah. And lastly, we have also the bay leaf, which I believe is accessible anywhere. It also nicely adds a lot of aroma at the beginning of cooking. We have
right when you added the spices,
all the seeds.
All the seeds, you can add the bay leaves then as well and fry it in the oil.
And we have fennel seed, which we'll also add along with the other seeds. It's more fresh in the smell, a little sweetish also. It's also very balancing for the digestive system, very soothing, very gentle. And it's also used in India as a mouth refreshener. So sometimes you come out of the Indian restaurant and you will have at the exit a little bit of the fennel seed. So you just have a couple of them after you had a meal.
So you can just chew on them after you eat to freshen your breath.
Yeah.
Natural chewing gum.
I think my toothpaste actually has fennel.
Sorry?
I'm sorry. I think my toothpaste has fennel in it actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, now the last thing which we have here to show to you guys, it's clove, which also all of you probably know. Another warming, heating spice also would go greatly if you would cook similarly, like we had zucchini, you would maybe prepare your pumpkin, let's say, or sweet potato. You could add a little, like 2-3 cloves, maybe some garam masala, and it would actually change the taste a lot. Yeah, clove is also very antibacterial. It's used if you have any problems with your teeth in Ayurveda. So sometimes you can even find the Ayurvedic toothpaste which are having clove as an ingredient. But what you can do simply, if you have a toothache, you can just simply take a clove and bite on it and chew on it for keep it in your mouth for maybe half an hour, 1 hour. You will feel that it's kind of numbing the area of the mouth, of the gums which you are chewing. It makes also your mouth much more fresh. And it's helping to basically to heal quicker thanks to its antibacterial effect. So even for oil pulling, when we were mentioning, you can add a drop of essential oil, which is made out of clove. That exactly would have similar effect. Okay.
Do you guys have any questions?
No.
Okay.
Ready to eat.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now.
We'll let you go and enjoy the food before it gets cold.
Oh, nice,
Nice,
Ariel.
Ariel. Looks nice.
Put a lot of zucchini. I love vegetables. I think I
Awesome.
am ready.
Nice.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Ready.
Yeah, looks nice. Mix the dal from the bottom. How is it? Still watery?
I think more watery than the one you have, but it looks better now.
Okay. Yeah, you can just keep
thicker.
cooking until it's the consistency which you like, basically. But yeah, it's nice also a little more watery, a little more like soupy.
Yeah.
Especially you have it with rice.
Generally with lentils and beans, like you can keep cooking it for more time. It doesn't matter. You can cook it for much more time. And ideally, if you cook them slowly for a longer period, it tastes better than if you would cook it really quickly for a short period, maybe with a pressure cooker. It has a different taste. Yeah.
Also, if it cooking longer time, does it help easy to digest?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Magda, Sophie, how is your food?
Good. Mine was pretty thick. I just added some more water so then when I turn the heat on. I don't know if you can see. This is the dal. Oh, it's the dog, sorry.
It looks very nice.
And then the zucchini is here. Is here?
Awesome. Oh, wait, we see more of the board, less of. Oh, yeah, now we see. Cool.
Yeah, my dal is
great.
pretty sticky.
Oh,
very thick.
Yeah, very thick, your dal.
Very thick. I cooked too much. I cooked the lentils yesterday, but yeah, I think I will add a little bit of water, but it's still delicious.
Yeah, it's still nice.
And here are my zucchini.
Nice,
Looking good now.
nice.
I just need to add parsley because I prefer parsley to coriander, to be honest.
Okay,
Yeah.
So I bought parsley and I will just add it fresh before food.
nice, awesome. Yeah, and parsley
Yeah, but
actually
it's-
has very similar effect. So it's like
Yeah,
the European
it's a
kind
little-
of thing. It's also cooling and also bitter in taste a little, like
Yeah, and
coriander.
but it's a little bit milder than coriander. Coriander
Yeah.
is very, very intensive, so I prefer parsley.
Nice.
Yeah, but
Awesome.
it's
Yeah, that's a great
delicious.
thing. There are always substitutes. We can always find something what works similarly, will give also freshness here in this case to the dish. But yeah, what matches our taste buds. All right. Thank you girls so much. Thank you
Thank
for cooking
you.
together.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bon
Thank
appetit,
you. It
everyone.
was amazing. We want more.
I know.
Let's see, we'll think of it.
Yeah. I
Think
mean, now you
about it.
pretty much know how to cook 80% of the veggies and dishes in Indian cooking with the same base. So you just
Yeah.
change around the spices and it's the same. The only complex thing is kind of cooking the sweet dishes and the desserts.
Hmm.
Okay,
But
so the
other-
next one, let's do desserts.
Yeah, we should try some
Yeah, we
desserts.
should.
But
We don't
even
have
now
the
we just
setup though for
told.
it. We don't have the right setup.
Yeah, you see, our kitchen is like outdoors and everything. But yeah, I wanted just to mention also about the gravy vegetables, because we just prepare the vegetables in the dry way, let's say, so like dry vegetables. But if you would like to turn it into gravy, you could also use similar base, similar spices. Maybe you would put a little bit more of onion, so it will give you more body. Maybe if you want to make like, yeah, like kind of paneer butter masala base, we could add tomatoes, few tomatoes, so it would add more body. And you would just cook this base for a little longer and then blend it simply. And then you could add, or maybe some vegetable, or maybe you want to add cream or coconut cream, Sophie, for the vegan version. Like you can
Yeah.
always basically play a little bit with that. But yeah, that would be also, the base could be very similar.
Yeah, this
And
is what they do in a lot of the restaurants, the Indian restaurants, where you have the paneer butter masala or some gravy, which looks very consistent. They basically do the same thing with the spices and they add the onion and tomato and then they blend, they cook it for a bit and then they let it cool down. They blend it all and then they add the final vegetable or paneer and so on. And sometimes to make it quicker in a lot of the fast food Indian places, they'll kind of make the base, they'll make two kind of slightly different bases and keep it in the fridge and just use that base to add new veggies and so on. So which is why you don't feel so great sometimes after eating in those restaurants.
Yeah.
but it comes very quickly always somehow, all these elaborate meals.
Yeah. It's the Indian restaurants where you go and you order and it's the food is there in 5 minutes. They had to make all of that in, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a proper way, home way, and we hope that you will use it for more cooking.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, so that's it for today. Do you have any questions or anything to share?
Okay, we'll let you enjoy your meal and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank
you
you,
so
Sister.
much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye. See you
See you.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Enjoy your meal.
You too. Bye.
Bye.